right, we are going live. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's still morning for the next 14 minutes. You know, it's almost noon, but that's okay. We can still talk about some movies this morning. Full disclosure, I am home with our baby boy Henry, who is deciding that his nap is something he doesn't want to do today. So at any point I may have to leave because he's starting to wake up a little bit in his little bed. So we'll see if everything just shuts down. You'll know exactly what happened. He must be going through a growth spurt or something. Anyway, none of that matters for you all. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Movie Mornings. Today we've got a couple of things to touch on. It's a big day for DC nerds like us, and so I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a good time. So let's go ahead and dive right in to our first story. And if you notice my eyes still darting over there, that's because I'm checking the baby monitor. So there you go. First story, everybody. Creature Commandos is a soft intro to the new DCU, to the new DC universe, says James Gunn. We can make something that's violent and sexy. He says sexual, but I just thought it'd be funnier to say sexy. This is from Adam B at Variety. Oh, it's a good cup. Coffee just hits different when you've been waiting 4 hours to drink it, you know? All right. In mid-2022, executives from what was then called HBO Max approached James Gunn about doing another series adapted for DC Comics following his hit Peacemaker, his first idea of an animated show loosely based on the DC Comics character known as the Creature Commandos, i.e. a group of monsters thrown together into a Black Ops team tasked with taking out their enemy by any means necessary. He wrote the 7-episode first draft over a few weeks on spec, and then David Zaslav, that piece of human garbage, hired Gunn and Peacemaker executive producer Peter Safran to run DC Studios and relaunch the DC universe. We all remember this. And he says, quote, I said, oh, I know what I can greenlight, Gunn said with a laugh. 2 years later, the merrily TVMA series Creature Commandos debuts on Max today on December 5th, is serving as a kind of appetizer for the new DCU before Gunn's feature film Superman provides the main course when it premieres in July. As the studio co-chief, Gunn sees the series as a way to establish both his overall creative philosophy for the DCU and how he intends to build out its wider storytelling landscape. I just liked the idea of a soft intro to our universe, in which metahumans exist, monsters exist, magic exists, and incredibly complicated political situations exist, Gunn says. And we see what that world of DCU is through an animated perspective where it costs as much to create a battlefield as it does to create a kitchen. Well, not exactly, but not as dissimilar as it would be in a film. Working in animation also afforded Gunn the freedom to make the show as violent and sexual as anything he's made in live action. For example, Dr. Phosphorus, voiced by Alan Tudyk, thinks nothing of using his radioactive skin to melt the face of his enemies, and multiple characters disrobe for bouts of enthusiastic intercourse. Is it too early to be talking about enthusiastic intercourse? That's fine, right? It's almost noon. Yeah, we're fine. Gunn cautions that this kind of frisky boundary pushing won't be a part of every DC Studios project. One of the main things I want to establish is that you can do anything at DC Studios. We can make complete family fare. We can make something that's for general audiences like Superman. We can make something that's violent and sexual like this, which I didn't think was that violent and sexual. Peacemaker is both more violent and more sexual, but I want every project to have its own voice. It isn't about creating a world in which everything is all sex and violence. It's about creating a world in which we can tell the story about, one type of character in different genres. To that end, Gunn and executive producer Dean Lorey assembled their cast. Talks about the entire cast. with the intention that the actors would play their roles in live action as well, should they be needed for another DCU production. The show is already doing this in reverse, with Sean Gunn is also voicing Weasel, the human-sized furry mammal he first played in James Gunn's 2021 live-action film The Suicide Squad. Viola Davis is reprising her performance as Amanda Waller from the film in Peacemaker, along with Steve Agee as his Peacemaker character, John Economos, which is hysterical, and I love him. For most of the new cast, the potential for playing their roles in live action at this point is just that. It's not contractual, says Tudyk with a chuckle. It would be neat. When Gunn first approached David Harbour about playing Eric Frankenstein, we just casually talked about it. Harbour says the actor also doesn't know when or if he would embody Frankenstein on camera, let alone whether it would be through makeup, performance capture, CGI, or a little bit of both. But his face lights up when talking about the possibility. So it goes on a little bit more talking about the actors down there, but obviously main thing we're touching on, Creature Commandos has arrived. The first project of the new DCU is here. Very excited. I actually haven't got to watch yet. I'm waiting for Maggie to get back from work so that we can watch it together, because that's what we do. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see just what this has in store for us. I love Peacemaker. I thought Peacemaker was fantastic. One of my favorite shows the year it came out. Made me give a crap about people that I never thought I'd give a crap about. And yeah, it's seeing James Gunn come out and do this next. Like, it's interesting. And it was always interesting that this was going to be the first project from DCU. You know, like, I get Superman, that makes sense. But like this, it's just, it definitely is setting a tone, you know, an expectation early on, putting the flag in the dirt, saying this is who the DC studios are going to be. And that's kind of exciting. The gods and monsters of it all. Oh, sorry. Just had to get another drink. Caleb Richardson in chat says, this is truly a great week of DC. Superman and Lois series finale was on Monday. Creature Commandos premiered today, and the DC Studios Showcase podcast comes out tomorrow. Yes, be talking about that here in just a second. And DJ Knight in chat, chatting it up. I guess the reason is I'll watch it. Yeah, I feel you, man. DJ Knight, always holding it down for us in the chat. Appreciate you. To that point, there are a few other many things associated with the Creature Commandos that I wanted to touch on. So, of course, James Gunn tweeted out, or what do we call it? Skeeted out a screenshot of Rotten Tomatoes, and it says Creature Commandos has a 100% on the tomato meter, and on his caption just says sweet. Now, I don't see of how many people that have reviewed it, like what the, you know, like how many is that? Sometimes, you know, it'll say like 26, sometimes it says like 400, you know, it just depends. So I am curious about how many people have already reviewed it as of the time of it saying 100%. But I will say, just anecdotally, all the reviews I've seen coming out are solid. Like, they're saying it's really, really good. First 2 episodes are out today on Max, so be sure and check that out. Speaking of Creature Commandos, James Gunn also says the Creature Commandos official playlist is now live on Spotify. Music from the first 2 episodes, airing today, he says tomorrow in his post, are up now and will be updated weekly. I hadn't even considered before seeing this that there was gonna be fantastic music in this series. And like, I should know that, obviously, because it's James Gunn. He has fantastic music in every project he does. But that was like the last thing on my mind was what the soundtrack's gonna be, and now I'm even more excited to check it out, because like, just the way he makes these almost like mini music video segments in his movies and shows, like, I don't know, I'm a sucker for that. I love that kind of stuff. And I believe this is the last piece related to the DC Creature Commandos. James Gunn also skeeted out that he is introducing DC Studios Showcase, the official podcast, your one-stop destination for all things DC and DC Studios. It looks like it is going to be on Max. The official podcast is presented by Max. I think it's also going to be available on podcast networks, as they've done in previous podcasts that Max has done. But that's definitely fun, of course. I know the official Marvel podcast, they do their stuff sometimes. I'm curious to see if this will be as corporate as that one. Like the Marvel podcast is fun, but it feels like it's just an advertisement, you know? And like there's not really like good open quality conversation through it. Like, I mean, it is good. I don't mean it in a bad way, but it just mean like you can tell they're trying to stay on the pitch of what they're trying to sell that week, if that makes sense. Not saying that obviously they're not going to dog any DC Studios stuff in this podcast, but it'd just be cool to hear like more conversation about like the making of it and stuff like that, as opposed to just, you know, reminding us to go watch, you know, the show or whatever. So, yeah, let me double check here. I believe, yeah, that's the last bit about the DC Studios. I got a few more quick hits for us to talk about, touch on. There's a couple of more fun things happening this week. Happening today, sorry. But, yeah, let me know what you think in the chat, in the comments. Are you excited for Creature Commandos? If you've checked it out, please let me know your thoughts. Very curious to hear what everybody thinks. This show is so weird, but so was Guardians of the Galaxy before it came out. You know, like, I mean, people forget it was a giant tree and a raccoon in space. Like, that was weird, and now it's fantastic. And maybe Creature Commandos will be the same thing. Maybe Dr. Phosphorus is the next Groot. You know? Who knows? Who knows? Baby Phosphorus. That's definitely not gonna happen. All right, next bit of news here. We got from Culture Crave. Daredevil Born Again is set 5 years after the Netflix series. This is from Collider. So again, this is just a little headline. I actually went to the Collider website trying to find the whole story. Couldn't really find whatever it was, but it interesting that they're saying it's set 5 years after the Netflix series. I actually haven't finished the Netflix series. We were like 2 episodes into season 3 before No Way Home came out, and just never, I think No Way Home happened, and then like just the fever to try and watch it before No Way Home just kind of stopped. So I definitely want to finish it though. It was a good series, obviously. Daniel's Hot Topics in the chat says they should have released Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill. They canceled it so fast. Daniel's, yeah, that's complicated for sure. You know, I don't blame James Gunn for them not doing that. But it's just, you know, they were obviously wanting to start something new, kind of start fresh. And like, if you're trying to rework the entire Snyderverse, it would have been a big complicated mountain to try and fix. So, you know, they ended up not doing it. Unfortunately, I would have loved to seen a sequel to Man of Steel, especially after the post-credit scene in Black Adam. It would have been really interesting to see all that. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen that too. Sorry, I don't really have anything else to say other than I would have liked to have seen it, but I understand why it's not happening. Maybe one day, you know, maybe James Gunn's gonna get crazy, and we're gonna get a live-action Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we're gonna see Henry Cavill don the suit one more time, and maybe we'll also get Brandon Routh. I mean, who the hell knows? You know, who knows? Maybe Tom Welling shows up. I doubt that would happen, but you know, that would be really cool if it did. All right, next up from Culture Crave via Extra TV, Dave Filoni confirms The Mandalorian and Grogu has wrapped filming. It is releasing in theaters May 22nd, 2026. I'm excited for this. Like, it's been a minute since we've had like a full-on Star Wars movie, and I like The Mandalorian. I don't I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm very interested. Very interested in this, obviously. The Mandalorian, actually, this is just a fun personal note, but The Mandalorian premiered the day that we found out we were going to have Viv, our daughter. And so when we were super excited, find out we're pregnant, obviously, that Maggie's pregnant. And so, we then start The Mandalorian and we get to the end and there's, what we knew then as Baby Yoda. And it was just, ever since then, I've kind of equated Baby Yoda with Vivian a little bit. And it's just, I don't know, it just makes me happy. And knowing that I'm going to get to take her to watch this in theaters, I don't know, it's just going to be kind of cool. Let's see here. Lastly, this is the last story we got for you today. An exclusive poster, this is from Discussing Film, for the Simpsons Christmas special, The Simpsons, Oh Come On, All Ye Faithful. Wow, what a name. It's going to be hitting December 17th on Disney+. I'm assuming this is going to be another one of their... here, let me see if I can scroll it up a little bit for y'all. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to let me. I'm assuming this is going to be another one of their, shorts that they do. They're usually 3-4 minutes. They're all really good. They're just so freaking short. There was one that was had Loki in it. I cannot remember what it was, but maybe it was just about Loki. But it was really funny. I liked that one. And the first one where they join Disney Plus and you see the Simpsons hanging out with all the Disney characters. I forget, somebody got drunk with Homer. I want to say it was Goofy. Could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, I always love these little shorts. I think they're great. Daniel's Hot Topics in the chat says, Man of Steel 2 would have had Brainiac coming to Earth and Superman would have decimated him. Man, I would love to see a really well done Brainiac. I feel like that would be really rad. Even him versus Black Adam would have been cool. But Brainiac, just to see a good live action version of Brainiac would be fantastic. Obviously I'm a big Brainiac fan. I believe DJ Knott confirms it was Goofy in the chat for us, so thank you for that. Everybody, that's it. That's all the stories I got for you. I plan by hook or by crook, I will be here tomorrow. Even if Movie Mornings happens at 5 p.m., it's gonna happen, all right? It will happen. We'll see. It's always fun trying to balance real life and this kind of stuff, the stuff that I love. But it's fun. We're here. We're making it work. Daniel's Hot Topic says, I gotta say, I hope that they make a Flash 2. Script is already written. They can't let it go to waste. And I would love to see Michael Keaton again as Batman. Yeah, I would love that too. I actually personally really enjoyed the Flash movie. Obviously, all kinds of things on the back end that makes it super complicated. Controversial, obviously. So I'm not going to delve into all of that. We spoke about it in our Flash review. But it was, I enjoyed it as the movie itself. I think it got a bit of a bad rap for some of the CG effects that they did, some of the special people that showed up, digitally. I personally, Daniels, I would love to see that. I don't think we're going to get to see that. Just one, it didn't, take away all the complications of them starting a new universe and the casting and all of that stuff. It didn't do that well, and I think that's the biggest reason it won't happen is just money. It wasn't as big a success as they were just wanting it to be, and it cost a lot. So I think that's going to be kind of the death knell for it. Honestly, that's probably the same reason why we're not getting a Man of Steel 2 and not getting any of these other things. Had that been a huge success, I do think James Gunn would have not necessarily kept it but like maybe would have tried to work some of that stuff into his new universe. But you know, obviously, I mean, because he's not opposed to it, obviously. I mean, like a Peacemaker, like that's still going to be a part of this universe, even though it existed in the previous one. But yeah, I just think the money wise just caused it to probably not get to see that. They may rework that script. I could see them doing that. You know, and turn it into a new Flash movie of some kind. I know the director, if I'm not mistaken, is directing the Batman movie. I think it's called Brave and Bold, but it's him and his son. He's the one that's supposed to be directing that. I think that's what I heard. I could be wrong. I believe I heard that somewhere. Yeah, it was good though. I could see us getting Michael Keaton again as Batman at some point. Again, you do Crisis on Infinite Earths, live action, Henry Cavill, The Rock. you just get everybody back, you know? Have one big grand thing. I don't think James Gunn is super interested in doing that. But I think maybe it could happen one day. Maybe. I mean, hey, spoiler alert for The Flash. But we finally got Nicolas Cage as Superman, right? And that, we thought that ship sailed 20 years ago, but it finally happened. So never say never, because you never know just what might happen. All right, everybody. That's it. We're going to be back again tonight, speaking of DC, with going back to Smallville, our weekly Smallville rewatch podcast where Maggie and I rewatch and recap every episode of Smallville. We are currently in season 6, talking about the episode Rage, where the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, takes some stuff to and gets all roided out. So it's a good one. It's a good episode. And then following that tonight, we'll also be doing our Super 90s playback. It's where we do a VHS tape randomly and watch it. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to be doing both of those tonight, starting at 8:15-ish. There's always an asterisk when kids are involved. But yeah, come hang out with us. And hopefully I will see you all tomorrow for the Friday edition of Movie Mornings. But that's going to wrap it up for me today, everybody. Thank you to all those in chat, keeping the conversation alive. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a hopefully awesome day.